I'm Jay-Z.
I'm Daniel.
And this is a holiday edition of Just Mike DIY.
We're here to bring you a snowman made of cement.
Because it's Georgia and it never snows here. So this is the only way we're going to get a snowman.
And the only thing on the ground is leaves, and it's hard to make a leaf man.
That's right. Luckily, this is super easy DIY. You just need a few materials. We're going to show you how to do it right now.
Fantastic.
We originally saw this project on the Housetop channel. We'll be sure to link that below in the description.
So we start off by inflating our punch bows. Jay-Z is always blowing things out of proportion anyways.
I was supposed to be doing the head, but... Were you going to let a little out? Rody's probably freaking out inside.
It is important to try and get 3 different sizes in your snowman staggering of ball sizes.
Luckily we did this a couple of times, so we ended up having enough of the right size balls. So now that we've had a proper punch ball fight. Stop! Okay. Now that we've had our fun, we're gonna let these come to temperature because it's a little chillier outside and they will shrink with our hot air and the balloons. Because science.
So whose do you think will shrink more?
Oh, definitely his.
That means I'm more full of hot air than she is.
Yes. So after we let the punch balls sit for a bit, it was time to mix the concrete. Now, we will say it's important to have this be a really, really soupy mixture. You're gonna think it's too soupy, but because we're going to be dipping cotton rope in it, the cotton actually soaks up a lot of that moisture, and you do want it really wet. If you see at any point in this process your rope getting the concrete chunky while your rope's in there, add more water, and you'll see why later.
So we take the cotton cord we're going to use for wrapping the punch balls and drop it into the concrete mixed bucket, cement mixed bucket.
Being sure to keep track of one end. This is important. You'll see we tied it off on the sides so we wouldn't lose it, and then dipped it in just to make sure it was all nice and covered.
Now this is the tricky part. It's helpful to have a feeder of string and to create a basic starting pattern that has some tension on it. But then once you get to a certain point, you got to use an elliptical patterning, so you're going to be creating more and more of an angle as you proceed through the punch ball's wrapping design. This is to make sure that you have plenty of things that make it feel like it's actually a sphere when the balloons disappear.
Yeah. As you'll see, Daniel is bouncing this up and down. Putting it back down on the table is actually helping with that tension and keeping some of the ropes in place.
Once you feel like you have plenty of corded pattern to represent your snow sphere, you tie it off and cut it off. Oh my god!
Really?
Got you.
Kind of. I am going to add more water to this because this is chunky at this point. You'll see I'm adding a little bit more water to the mixture because the first part of that really soaked up a lot of the moisture. So we're making it again super wet, and I'll show you what it looks like.
Brains in a bucket. Daniel's hanging a balloon.
No, he's playing with the dog. I just wanted to practice my whistling skills.
On camera? That's totally needs to be in the cut.
Oh no, I lost the end.
Oh, you would.
Oh. And we're going on for the second one. In all, we ended up wrapping 5 balloons. This was our second go at it. and we learned the way to dry them.
We're hanging them from a 2x4 that's held up by the sawhorses, but barely off the ground, but on the ground. This is enough to keep it upright, but keep the ball from distending and creating these patterned egg issues.
Yeah, when we hung them higher, we forgot about gravity, and also one of the balloons had a leak, so that just became a mess. These were from our first try, and you'll see one has too many ropes, one became an egg, and the orange one was good. Now we're gonna build the stand. We just marked the middle of this wood round. It's a regular old wood round from Home Depot, using a Forstner bit and drilling in but not all the way through. This pole is actually from a metal tiki torch. Once we were sure it fit, we just dropped some glue in.
Inserted the tiki torch dowel and used a speed square to try and get it upright.
Now to pop it, make sure you have your safety gear on because
boom,
it goes everywhere. I tried the tape method, which was supposed to keep it from exploding, but that failed.
The tape is supposed to keep it from exploding.
Yeah, well, maybe that's for a normal balloon.
Apparently. Well, see, that's why you're in safety gear, people.
Once your balloon has been popped, you can pull it out of most places. You may have to cut it out of some. And we're using ratcheting pruning shears to cut off the extra bits on the end. And then I'm just knocking off the extra little cement bits.
Now that we know it explodes.
2, 3.
Now what we noticed in this round was that the first ball we wrapped didn't have enough moisture in the concrete, so it didn't have rigidity. Poor snowman. Oh, he's a melted snowman. You could put the head on top. Oh, that just looks sad. That looks like an egg in a nest. So luckily we did have that first round that we did, and the head just had too many ropes. The good news is you can actually cut out cured cement ropes. We used 10 snips.
We're just trying to thin this down so that we can make it match the other spheres that we want to be using.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that becomes loose or whatever can just be zip tied into place. Most of the time, this ball is going to be wearing a hat, so we're not too concerned with what his widow's peak looks like. We figured out what the height of our snowman was going to be, and we just went ahead and used a pipe cutter to cut the dowel down to its appropriate size.
For the eyes, we're using regular old charcoal and just putting little cup hooks in the back of it. I did break a couple, but ended up figuring out how to make it work. And there you go, a cement snowman that's sure not to melt.
Don't forget to add a carrot, hat, and scarf, of course, to finish the look off.
Mm-hmm.
Explore giving him a Nomi. Get a Nomi for your Snowy.
Like we said, super easy DIY. We hope you enjoyed this holiday edition of Just My DIY.
And if you did, you should click that like button, of course subscribe and ring the bell, and check out a couple of things you need to make this down below.
And if you're not watching this on our website, head over to justmydiy.com for more. And speaking of more, we also did a DIY video showing you how to make the Christmas snow. So we had 2 for you this year. We hope you enjoyed them. Happy holidays. Bye.
Bye.